The second question I have is about animals. Our purpose is expansion and is joy and growing. Would my inner being, Esther's inner being, consider re-emerging into physical as an animal would that be considered an expansion? If, like, I decide next lifetime.
Well, first of all, it won't happen in that way, but there's a sort of flawed premise that you're beginning with. This energy stream, in other words, the energy of Abraham, the energy of that which we are, is present in humans, but it's also present in beasts. In other words, this stream of energy is present in everyone. And the animals do a much better job of aligning with that energy than the humans do.
Well, exactly.
So if you're talking in terms of hierarchy, which humans tend to do, or even excellence of accomplishment, which humans tend to do, the benefit that the animals have, and it is a benefit that is very, very significant over what humans are experiencing, is that the animal is much more often in the vortex. It's rare for an animal to not be in the vortex. Even when he's being chased down and is going to be someone's lunch, he is not outside the vortex. In other words, his inspiration is coming from that non-physical intention. And so the advantage that humans have is that you do a better job of step one. In other words, humans explore more contrast and do so with more deliberateness and therefore put more precision into the vortex. And so humans actually call for more expansion, while the animal is more of a step three. You know what we are meaning? The step one is the contrast caused you to ask. You can't stop from doing that, and everyone does it. All species do it, but humans do it more because you are focused more specifically about more things. Step two is accomplished by source. Step two is the answering of the question, or the being the answer to the question, or the being the solution to the problem. Step three is you must come into alignment with that which has already been accomplished inside the vortex. So the animals of your planet, we lovingly refer to them as the beasts of your planet. They are much more in the step three allowing part. In other words, and it would be fair to say that the reason that they are more allowing is because they are not so specifically focused on things. They're not worried about why you're not home yet. In fact, in most cases, not even noticing that you're not home yet, and so forth. They are not petty about things. They don't hold grudges. They are living more in the moment, and they are, for the most part, really tuned into who they are. And they are much more emotional than anyone gives them credit for, because their desire to feel good is a very strong impulse within them that has not been muted by an effort to be obedient and to keep rules. In other words, they're not sexually hung up.
But wouldn't it be an expansion for a human being to then reincarnate as an animal, because they clearly...
It would be an expansion for a human being to allow his expansion through paying attention to the way he feels. So it would be an expansion for a human being to be more animal-like in the sense that you are holding fewer grudges and pushing against fewer things, but you really don't need to come back as a rabbit in order to do that.
That's what I wanted to know, yeah. The rabbit
and you're not going to do that. In other words, you're because there is no and there is no moving back from that which you have become. But we are presenting those words very deliberately because we don't want to imply that the beast is less than that which you are. It is a different intention with which he has come forth, you see. Different intention. And you've got to accept that which is source, who is the launcher of the intentions, has launched intentions for balance. In other words, there is a balance in this environment that makes everyone part of the delicious balance. And there is not higher or lower, more advanced or less advanced. It's just co-creating for the reveling and the joyous expansion of all that exists. So a better way to look at it is, and this will satisfy your question in a powerful way, we're going to start we'll start here by saying that you come forth as this magnificent human, but part of the consciousness that is you is also coming forth as your cat, as your dog, as other species upon the planet. And so you're already doing some of all of that. Now, let's step back from that and acknowledge that you're not doing that from your human point of view. You did that from your source energy point of view. So from the source energy point of view, all of the bases are covered. So the answer to your question is yes. But when you as a human, or you as a rabbit, as you as anyone who are physically focused, are in alignment with who you really are, then you've got the best of all of it anyway. And don't you just know that most of those animals with whom you are co-creating know everything that you know? Can't you see it in their eyes? Don't you know how smart they are? Can't you feel? Even though they're not verbalizing to you in the way that you are, much of your conversation takes you out of the vortex, not in, you see. So it's all working. We are all part of all of that. However, you in this physical format have come to focus in this physical format. You've come to don this personality, to be this person that you are, to have this exposure to life, and to launch these rockets of desires, and to use the guidance system that you were born with, to understand and to recognize your vibrational relationship, and to work to come into alignment with that which you are. And as a human, when you come into alignment with all that you are, you gain the insight and instinctual understanding that every beast on the planet has as well. You see, it's not either or. When you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, you have access to all of it. All of it, you see. Whether you are a rabbit or a human, you have access to all of it. Good to know?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very good. Now what? On the aisle, second row.
Get up nice and close. There we go. Thanks.